Oh. Hi, Ray.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
I love your background.
Thanks.
I didn't realize that I have to admit you guys, so I have to watch to admit people. But right now, you're the first one joining.
Okay. John is coming too.
Okay. I'm going to keep an eye on this for a few minutes.
Okay.
How was your weekend?
It was great. Yeah. We just came back from a trip to Southern California. So yeah, it's good to get away for a while.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Santa Barbara. We basically drove all the way from Santa Barbara back to the Bay Area.
Awesome. I just went to like Morro Bay area 2 weekends ago. Yeah, it was really nice. Had a good time.
Yeah, it was very relaxing.
Cool. Good. Hi, Yvette. I don't know. Are you going to be like able to not camera, but be able to talk, Yvette?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, great. Awesome. Okay. I didn't realize I have to admit people, so I will give it like one more minute and see who else.
No problem.
And then we'll start talking whether people are on time or not.
That's great. Hi, Raymond. How are you?
Oh, hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. I love that background. That's the style house I want one day.
That's
You can buy it.
Yeah.
Build it.
Yeah. Build it is more like it, Raymond. Build it.
Build it. Build the way you want it.
That's right.
Ooh, John's picture is snazzy.
Hi, Myrna.
Hi.
Hi, Myrna.
Hi, how's everybody doing?
Great.
Fantastic. Good to have you back
Awesome.
in the
For you.
state.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone.
Jonathan,
Hi,
why are you
John.
so dressed up?
I'm always dressed up for the occasion.
Well, we feel special.
Oh my God.
Now I'm
That's
I'm
funny.
afraid to show you the man behind the mask.
Oh,
Not nearly
dude, I
as well
hear you.
dressed.
So since you guys are on time and we want to make the best use of our time, first of all, I wanted to offer a suggestion. How many of you have listened to the Audible version of the MREA book? Or have
I have.
You have, Yvette? Has
have
anybody
not.
else? Okay. There in the Audible version, there's a really nice introduction with Gary Keller, Jay Papasan, and Dave Jenks that's only a few minutes long. And I thought maybe I would play that right now.
Sounds great.
So that you guys could hear it, because you don't get this introduction in just the book, the paper copy. And that way, if people are still trying to join in the next few minutes, they're just going to miss that introduction. They're not really going to miss our discussion. Is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, trying to think, how do I do this? Or I think you guys ought to be able to hear it. If I just, let me try it and make sure that the volume is
Just share screen and they will play the
there. We
audio.
go. And then from there, okay, hold on a sec. I don't know if it's going to show the little, where are you? Okay, I'm in my Audible. It says listen now. And then you guys are going to have to tell me.
Is Audible, the millionaire real estate agent. It's not about the money. Hi, I'm Jay Papasan, co-author of The Millionaire Real Estate
You
Agent.
guys hear
And
it?
I'm here with lead
Yeah.
authors
Yes.
Gary Keller and Dave Jenks. We're here to welcome you to the audio version of that book. And
I got to tell you that we're really excited to share what we've learned in the last year or so with you. So guys, I came into this project a little late in the process. So I'd like to hear from you exactly how the Millionaire Real Estate Agent came to be.
Well, to be candid with you, Jay, it started many, many years ago. Dave and I have been in the industry
Hold on a
combined
second,
over
guys.
40.
I'm realizing though, if I do this, I can't see if people are trying to join. I wonder if I have to share my screen. Could you guys hear it if I wasn't sharing the screen? Let me try it that way because I have to be able to see if people are joining. And
Yeah, good idea.
tell me if you can hear it this way.
Years, and at that time we worked with
Yes.
hundreds
Okay.
and thousands of real estate agents in building their careers. And what happened was 5 or 6 years ago, we began to realize that there was a stream of consciousness. There were issues that were coming out of the real estate industry that even we hadn't dealt with effectively. So we sat down and we started asking some pretty big questions. And that is, what would it take? What would the models look like if someone wanted to achieve tremendous success in this industry? And then we pulled in our own mastermind groups we've been working with. We asked them those questions. Now, a lot of them were not succeeding at that level. But what we found fascinating was afterwards, we went out and interviewed a lot of millionaire real estate agents, and we discovered that their answers were very similar to the other group. And it made us realize that this stream of consciousness really did exist, that people really were experiencing the same kind of issues at all levels, and that someone needed to document this.
And the interesting thing that we found was that in the real estate industry, the real estate agent had been positioned as a non-business person, kind of with a sales job. But what we really realized was that the real estate agent had a choice. They could be a salesperson, or they could operate their practice as a sales business. And this effort became about how to make it work as a business.
Well, what's interesting is that we started this as a training program in our own company. And as we wrote it and worked on it and shared the manuscript with over 100 people, the feedback that we got was this was bigger than that. That if we wanted to help the people in our company, that the best thing we could do was to give this book, turn it into a book, and literally give it to the real estate industry. Because what we know is that the real estate industry is a very sharing, very open community in regards to education and learning. And that if we were going to help our people, we needed to start building a larger community of people who really understood this so they could share and grow together.
And as you know, Jay, because this was the point that you were involved in the project, what we did was, even though we had been working with very high level agents in our own company, we went out and got a list of the top agents that what really were the millionaire real estate agents in the real estate industry. And we in-depth interviewed them, and their words and their spirit are through.
Right. I mean, the top 50 agents in the country, and we interviewed over half of them. So these are agents that were really achieving at an incredibly high level. And as you've already said, Gary, what they found out was that they were verifying what you guys had already discovered.
That's exactly right, Jay. The most fascinating thing that we uncovered in all this is that there was nothing fascinating to uncover. That even though they were in all parts of North America, they were all basically living the same issues. What concerned us and what prompted us to move as fast as possible to write this book and publish the research was that there were lots of deviations. There were lots of experimentation that were causing people to spend a lot of money and time needlessly because they really weren't communicating back with each other as clearly as they could have. So it's in the writing of this book that Dave and I tried to bring that community together in the spirit of achieving at a large level.
And what really has happened since that time is that we've really heard back from the people who are the millionaire real estate agents, and they have said to us as they've read the book, wow, if I had this 10 or 15 years ago, I wouldn't have made the mistakes I've made. I wouldn't have spent the money I've made. I'd have gotten here a lot quicker.
You know, what I noticed, Jay, was that as you joined the project and you started delving into the research, your eyes got wide open too, didn't it? To the knowledge and the understanding of how to take a sales job and turn it into a massive career-changing, life-altering business.
Well, it's really about 4 fundamental models. And that's really what we're getting at in the whole book is that when you boil it all down, what looked really, really complicated was actually very simple. It just came down to a couple of, actually 4 fundamental models. I mean, that's really my next question. We've set this book up, I think, for the people who are about to listen to it, Tell us, I mean, what exactly is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent if you had to describe what they're about to experience?
I would say that it's really two books. It's on the one hand, a book about the art and the thinking of high achievement in the real estate business, right? And then the second half of the book is the science, the models that you referred to. And that is the practical how-to things to do to achieve at a high level.
That's really two books in one. The first half of the book really answers the question, how are you going to have to approach this from a mental set, from a purposeful thinking process? The second half of the book really gets quite intricate because it now says from a thoroughly practical point of view, exactly what are you going to have to do?
If you had to boil the book down, what would you say is the core message of the book?
The core message of the book is really that if you will follow big goals and big models, you can take your real estate business as big as you want to take it.
That's exactly right. If you can think it, you can earn it. And if you can earn it, you can net it. And if you can net it, then you can build a business that you can receive this money without you having to work in it.
That's it. And it's the power of standing on the shoulders of giants. When you really work with people who have operated at this level, you get to stand on their shoulders. What's possible. So for so many agents now in the real estate industry who are absorbing the message of this book, they now see bigger possibilities than they have ever seen before about what their business can be.
Right. And they see it clearer too.
So there are a lot of books out there right now. They're career guides for real estate agents. What really separates the Millionaire Real Estate Agent from those other ones?
Well, I'll be candid with you. This is not a compilation of opinion. This is not Dave's and my opinion about how people succeed at a high level. This book was deeply researched. And what Dave and I wanted to make sure happened was that this was a very well-written, thanks to you, Jay, but very well-researched, thanks to Dave and I, book that didn't mince words, but also didn't pontificate our opinion about what we think you should or shouldn't do. What we've reported here in this book, in hopefully a very delightful way, is exactly how you would achieve at a high level based upon the people who have done that before you.
Well, guys, that's just great. I mean, we're excited. We're excited about the book, and it's obvious that if allowed, we could talk about this for hours. I think without further ado, we need to get right into this audiobook and share it with the listeners. If you don't have a copy of The Millionaire Real Estate Agent to follow along, we want to let you know that you can go to www.millionaireagent.com, and all of these diagrams that are in the book are available there for free to download. So we hope you'll go to that site. We'll hope you'll explore it. And for right now, we hope you really enjoy this audiobook.
Okay. What did you guys, so I have a couple other resources I want to share with you to get us started, but what did you all think about that introduction?
It's great. It's a great overview and their perspective of what successes they kind of generated from the book and their experiences overall. I mean, aim high and see where the dart lands, I guess. It's a good summary overall.
My favorite.
Agreed.
Oh, Yvette, go ahead.
All I said was agreed with John.
Yeah, my favorite part about it, and this is whenever I'm introducing this book to anybody for the first time, what I try to stress is that we live in a world of paid opinion right now. There's book after book after book of paid opinion. Most of the news that you're seeing on TV is really paid opinion. I always joke that there's a half an hour of new news every day and 23.5 hours of paid opinion. And so we live in a world of paid opinion. And what I love about this book is, just like Gary said towards the end of that introduction, this is not us pontificating on our opinion. This is research of the top millionaire real estate agents in the country, of them thoroughly researching it and finding that there were patterns that are showing up. And they wrote a book about the patterns that are showing up that then anyone can follow. So that to me is what I love about this book, is that it's a book based on research.
Yeah, it's just like what the book, the introduction says, you leap forward by standing on the shoulder of the giant.
Right.
You don't recreate the wheel.
Right. My favorite term at Keller Williams is R&D, which usually stands for research and development. And at Keller Williams, what does it stand for? Do you guys know?
All I know is we're in trouble.
Yeah, I believe it's something about copying. I don't know what.
R&D, rip off and duplicate.
Yeah,
Oh.
copying. Yeah.
Borrow it, use it. That's the
Rip
kind of, culture we have. John, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay.
I was just laughing at that.
Okay. So a couple of resources I want to give you that I think are really helpful for this book club is they mentioned millionairerealestateagent.com. I'm actually going to take you to a different resource. I'm going to share my screen with you and take you to Keller Inc. So Keller Inc., let me get there, is Keller, INK, like a, ink in a pen, kellerinc.com. And this is where all of the books are that have been written by Keller Williams. So you see here where it says books, right next to it, it says resources. And when I click on that tab, did it move? Do you see here where it says Millionaire Real Estate Agent? Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If I click on the plus sign, there's a bunch of downloads now. Do you see all of that?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So this is, to me, the easiest way to get to the resources. So kellerinc.com, and then go to resources. And then for all the books that they've written, there's resources, but we're talking about Millionaire Real Estate Agent right now. So there's a bunch of resources. And one of them I'm going to drop in the chat for you that I think is really helpful. I'll actually probably share my screen on it. Is there's a quiz that goes along with the different sections of the book. And I think it's really helpful for you to grab the quiz at the beginning, which I already have it for you that I can share it as a PDF for you. And I'm going to share my screen. I think it's helpful for us to fill the quiz out as we go through. It's obviously talks about the most important points of the book. So I wanted to share this resource for you. There's 192 tasks for megas. It also says Mrea task list for megas. I looked, I believe those are the same 2 downloads. There's all the references to all the different figures that are in the book are here. The quiz, the economic model exercise is in here. Your big Y chart of accounts, which you can give to your bookkeeper and your CPA for your taxes. And then the MREA club topics. So believe it or not, they have book club topics for us for every single week that we meet for this book club. And I already have that part printed out as well. You guys are certainly welcome to reference it. I will be following along with the topics. I just think it's amazing. Obviously, our company wrote this book, and so they have a book club outline already, which is great. And that's something that I will be using as we meet. Now, the way that the book club is outlined is you go through a few pages a week. And with that in mind, it should take us until I think it's the second week of December to get through the entire book. I did combine the last 2 sections of the book club because the final section is just sort of a putting it all together. What are your ahas? And I thought that we could finish both of those 2 sections together on December 12th. So with us taking Thanksgiving week off, it means that we would meet in this book club every Monday, but from today all the way through December 12th, but not the week of Thanksgiving. That's kind of how does that sound okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Go faster. I'm just
You
kidding.
want to go faster?
Yes.
The way to do that is to combine 2 weeks at a time, which we would start that next week then. And I can certainly, it just means you got to kind of double up on your reading. You guys want to do it that way?
I'm open to either way.
It's our
I'm open
book
to
club.
either way.
Yeah, it's our book club, so we can do it whatever way we want. They tip, like today it was pages 1 through 46, which was very much introductory. It tends to be 30 to 4 pages per section. And I can double check to see if any of the sections are longer, but so we could double it. It'd be more like 60, 70 pages if you guys want to double it.
Yes, that's fine.
I'm
Is
okay
there
with it.
anybody opposed to making it go quicker?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so we'll start that next week then, because I didn't ask you guys ahead of time, so we're just gonna do the introductory part this week. I mentioned I was gonna share my screen with the quiz. Hold on, let me just open the quiz up really quick for you.
Just a minute. I just realized we haven't heard from Myrna. Myrna, are you okay with it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Thanks, Yvette.
Great.
Let me see. I want to attach the, let me attach the quiz for you so you guys can grab the PDF. So hang on just a second. This is going to be this PC. Here we go. Hang on. Okay. Is it there? I just put in the chat the Mrea quiz, which is a PDF that you can grab. And then I'm going to go ahead and share it with you as well, just so you guys can see what it looks like. And if you guys need me to email it to you later, I certainly can do that as well. So here's the Mrea quiz, and it's just 2 pages long, and it asks basically 11 different questions that as you go through the book, you should get the answers to, okay? So that's what it looks like. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you guys was, are there any other group expectations or group goals that you'd like to have for this?
No. Yeah, the big expectation is to become a millionaire.
Woohoo! Yes. All right. My parts would just be, I would just say, do your best to be on time. And we are recording, so if somebody misses one week, will be the recording. And then also do your best to be here and be able to contribute, because book clubs run a lot better if we're all talking and we're all contributing. It's not really me teaching a class, right? We're just having a book club together. So those would be my expectations. Any others besides that?
I have a question.
Yes.
So we're in the process of planning 2022, and I think you're working with us, and also we just did the KPA. And I just want to make sure that, that process is moving forward and it not being substituted by the book club.
Oh, no, not at all. These have nothing to do with each other, Raymond. Everybody in the office is welcome to attend this book club, and it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm doing with you guys in your team. I'm just glad you're here. And by the way, just to add to that, we are also going to be doing a business planning clinic. I believe it's October 5th. It's a Tuesday. There's going to be a couple of different options. Business planning clinic is an all-day clinic that Keller Williams runs or teaches. And Karen Prahl, who's the director of our region, is going to be offering a business planning clinic on October 5th. It's actually at a location, and I can't remember where right now off the top of my head. I'm trying to find out if it's going to be, you can go there in person or watch it on Zoom. And if hers is only an in-person event, I know that there's another option for you to do business planning clinic with Keller Williams later in October, which we're going to be getting you guys the information that you can do it through KW Connect online. So that I also would recommend. It goes very much hand in hand with the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, that you attend business planning clinic to plan your business for next year. It's it's one of the best classes we offer.
Perfect.
There's a workbook that goes along with it, and it's definitely meant, we teach it in the fall in order to be planning ahead. So typically it's taught in September, October, so that you're planning 1 quarter ahead. Okay. Any other expectations that you guys have? Let's see, I shared with you guys my I think Keller Inc., just going there and all the resources that are available there is really, really helpful to add to what you're doing. And then besides that, now that if we're going to go ahead and talk about the first pages 1 through 46 of the book, I would love to hear what you guys' thoughts are on the first section of the book. And I know Yvette's going to be jumping back in here in just a sec. She had to jump off for a second. What were the major themes that stood out for you at for the beginning section of the book? We talked about standing on the shoulders of giants. What else?
For me, what stood out was the foundational model of the millionaire real estate agent, the pyramid, and just kind of understanding that listing, leverage, and leads, and how the whole pyramid kind of works out was really awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I actually have a couple slides I can share with you that show that. I'm hesitant to share them right now because I'm waiting for Yvette to jump back in, and then I can share it because I can't see if she's trying to request access if I'm sharing my screen. But yeah, so Myrna, what's the pyramid? There's actually 2 pyramids that they talk about at the beginning. Before they talk about the 3 L's, do you remember what the first pyramid is? The upside down one. Do you remember what that one is?
Oh yeah, that one. Let me look.
It's on page 37.
Yes. The models and creativity.
Yeah.
But that's the unstable one.
Right. So if you lead with creativity instead of leading with models, then you can be very creative, but very unstable.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they recommend you got to start with a solid foundation, foundational models. And then once you've got that really good solid foundation in place, then you sprinkle some creativity on top.
On top. Yeah. Yeah. Which it kind of makes sense. That you start with what has been done and has worked, and then you kind of add your creativity however you want.
Yeah, add your own flair and your own personality.
Yeah.
So if we think about those, 50 or so millionaire real estate agents that they interviewed, they had foundational things that it turned out they were all doing, but they all probably had their own flair to it because they're different people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What else, you guys?
Well, for me, it's a good reminder to see the second triangle, the listing, leverage, and leads. I think that's always been the fundamental part of my business strategy is to continuously generating leads and do the follow-up. And the problem that I face is leverage. And that's why I decided to join Keller Williams, is to emulate or model ourselves using the business model that Keller Williams has.
Yeah. And really now you're seeing here, Ray, that it's really not it didn't start as a Keller Williams model. If you look at this book, it's really the model of what millionaire real estate agents were using. We just put it into book form, right? Yeah. Here she comes.
Yeah,
here
because
comes Yvette. Sorry, let me grab Yvette. She's coming back in. There we go. Yeah, exactly. So it obviously is something that works. So when you look at the triangle, what does it start with? What does Gary Keller say everyone has 2 jobs of?
Leads.
And everything else, right?
Right.
You have in your job, you have 2 jobs, leads and everything else.
Yes.
So it starts with leads, right? I mean, we don't have a business if we don't have leads.
Yes.
And then, okay, so here's where, let me see if it makes any sense to share. I don't think it matters that much. There's a couple of things I can share with you that are kind of a PowerPoint presentation. And I'm just kind of looking back and forth. But basically what they're talking about here is that it starts with leads, because if we don't have leads, we don't have a business. And then why is listings the second part of the focus?
Listing is the control of the market.
Controls the market. The person who has the listing controls the market. And why else?
Well, I know that when we have listings, we also end up picking up buyers as well. So that's what we love about our open houses, is just the amount of buyers we can, get from that.
If you only focus on buyers, you're missing out on half of what's going on. And for every listing, they say in the book, you should be able to get 2 pieces of business from every listing. You should be able to get another listing if you're marketing it correctly. And you should be able to pick up at least 1 more buyer, right?
Yeah, so interesting, Laura, I'll be really brief on this. We picked up 2 buyer presentations from Saturday's open house and 2 buyers presentations from Sunday's open house.
Awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations. So why is the other reason why we focus on listings? There's another reason that they talk about in the book.
Ugh.
Efficiency.
Did you say efficiency, Ray?
Yes.
Yeah, it takes less time to do a listing than it does a buyer. So they talk about you can work more listings at one time than you can work buyers.
Mhm.
Buyers take a lot more time. Especially if you're writing multiple offers with them and how many properties you're showing them. So when he talks about scalability, the top agents can have, I know there's numbers he has in here about how many listings they say you can work in 1 month versus how many buyers you can work, or how many listings you can work at one time versus how many buyers you can work at one time. Do you guys remember where that part is? It's in there. Somewhere. So it starts with leads, then it moves to listings. Any other thoughts on those 2 parts?
So what would be a recommended listing versus buyer close ratio? Do you just top of your mind, what would be an adequate ratio?
Well, what does everybody else think about that?
Are you talking about closing on the appointment, or because the thing I love about listings, I know if I have a listing in California, it's going to close. With a buyer, I don't know if it's going to be 6 months, 9 months, if they're going to freak out, if they're going to run away. A couple of hours that we had in contract, they got transferred out of the country. It was just wild stuff. Yeah. So that's what I love about listings. But as far as you're talking about appointments?
No, what I'm talking about is listing close versus buyer close. So let's say if you close 50 deals, what's the percentage of listing close versus buyer close?
Well, actually what they talk about here in the Mrea book as we move forward into the book is that it should be a 50-50 business. It should be 50% listings and 50%
buyers.
But you're gonna, as you get busier and busier, your leverage, which is the next thing we talk about, you're gonna pull somebody in to help you with those buyers. Because one person can't do, if you're doing 25 listings, you can do that. That's 2 a month. People can do more than 2 listings a month. We see it in our market all the time. It's really hard to do. I think the number is more than 7 buyers in a month or something like that. It gets really, really hard. I'm not finding it. I know we're going to find it here in the book somewhere. But it gets really hard to have a listing business and take on all those buyers at the same time. So, Ray, you might even say, I could do 1 listing a day. I could do 30 listings a month. Could I do 30 buyers a month though?
Oh.
No,
absolutely.
That's where leverage You could go on a listing appointment a day, and obviously we're starting to talk about leverage, because if you went on a listing appointment a day, you've got to have a team that's helping you even with the listing management, right?
Correct.
But you could go on a listing appointment a day, which is what some of these millionaire real estate agents do. That's all they do. They go on listing appointments, they get the listing, and then they hand it off to their lead listing specialist to get all the documents done, staging, whatever needs to happen, photography to get that listing on the market. And they're probably not even at that point going on buyer appointments. They've handed all the buyers off to a buyer's agent on the team or multiple buyer's agents.
So just not to press this to the extreme, on the average, what would be a percentage for a team to have? Do you shoot for like 70-30 ratio?
50-50. No, 50-50 is what they shoot for. They say it's that if you're not focusing on both, you're missing out on business.
Got it.
Right. Here's an example, Ray, that I think you'll get. Back in the REO days, there were agents out there that were REO listing agents that wouldn't work with a buyer. They were missing 50% of their business if they just pulled a buyer's agent in to help with that buyer side of the business, or a couple of buyer's agents. Think about how much more money they would have made if they weren't just focused on the listing side. Right. Or
yeah.
Or vice versa, you guys. What about if you're just focused on the buyer side?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're running yourself ragged.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what else, Yvette? You're always waiting for a listing to show up.
Yeah.
Unless you're the type of buyer's agent that goes out there with golden letters and that kind of stuff to try to find the listing. And
yeah,
because right now we're low on listing inventory. So if we don't have the listing, we're always looking for the listing as a buyer's agent, right?
Yes.
yes.
And some buyer's agents are much more active in that, trying to find the property off market, or just get the listing, period.
You know, we had a situation in our office, and I spotted it. There is a listing agent that we have that just had listing after listing, and I got to know her and I became friendly with her in the office, and they said, what on earth, what do you do? Because it was just her. And I said, what do you do with your buyers? And she says, oh, I have a list of them. I have them in a spreadsheet. I said, how about my team take your buyers, work them for you. They're just sitting there. And as we work them, we'll give you 25% of referral fee on it. She has had 5 close with us in a year. So that she's gotten 25% times 5, right?
And then she would have gotten nothing on, right? Otherwise.
Yeah. Because and she then tried to do a team with a buyer, and she just realized she just wasn't meant to do that. She's done it 3 times now, and she frankly just doesn't want to do it. So this is a good arrangement.
Win-win for everybody.
Yep.
So Yvette, one of the things, well, I know you had to jump off for a second and jump back in, that we talked about while you were gone was the first triangle that they talk about in the book is the upside down triangle, or the creativity triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously we talked about you have to have solid fundamentals before, and then sprinkle creativity on top. That if you start with creativity, and that actually one of the things that I would mention about the creativity triangle is it's so simple. It's simple. Success is simple, not easy, which is a bold law. I think sometimes people come into this business and they think it can't be that simple. And just because it's simple doesn't mean that you don't sit down every day and go to work on getting leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the part I think for some people is they think it's too simple, so they want to get rich quick, creative get rich quick plan. So they put creativity first before the systems and models.
Yeah, I was Myrna and I, have been a part of a Miracle Morning group at 6:15 a.m. for months now. And one of the books that we read was Atomic Habit, and it talks about, or actually maybe it was in the latest book we're reading, the 12-week year, or maybe it's in both of them. It just says that, we keep thinking that sorry, somebody just threw something at me as they walked by. I apologize. Okay. But we think that athletes, these star athletes, they just go out there and they're excited every day to do it. They've just become accustomed to the boring. And we if we want to be like an athlete, or we want to be like a star, we have to become accustomed to doing the boring things and being okay with it. And the boring things, Brian and I used to have this problem when we first got together and tried to form a team, is that we both wanted to work on the creative stuff. Let's work on the logo. Let's work on the colors. Let's work on this. No, how about let's work?
Yeah.
The
the logo and the colors don't matter if you don't have a lead, right?
All right. But we all get stuck with that thing, right? Yeah. The image thing versus the hard work.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I think about that part, with my coaching mind and just with how my own personality works, I just think of rewards, and for, okay, great. I want to do some fun, creative stuff too. And so that'll be my reward for, I do 2 to 3 hours of lead gen, and then I get that done. And then I reward myself with an hour of working on the presentation or working on the logo or whatever. Right? But
yeah,
that to me ends up being a way that I can justify it, is, okay, that's the reward for hard work done. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Other thoughts for you guys? For me, it always comes down to this section here, just fundamentals before creativity, and then leads, listings, leverage. There really is a sequence to it. You can't do it out of order, or you're leading with creativity first. You can't focus on leverage and listings if you don't have leads, right? There is a trick to it. And I always think about in real estate, we don't really have a job description like you do when you have a high-tech job or whatever other job where there's a job description out there. There's not really clocking in and clocking out every day, and there's not really a daily job description unless you create it for yourself, which is where we use tools like the 411 for your daily activities. And my mindset around that is always, what's the win the day for me? If I can look at the end of my day and ask myself, did I win the day today? Did I do the right activities today? So that I can feel like I won the day at the end of the day, and go home and shut my brain off for a while and get a good night's sleep because I did the right things, because those are building blocks. That's, like the one thing, the dominoes in the one thing book, those building blocks build on each other. And if I win 4 to 5 days out of the week, I've won the week. And if I can win 3 weeks out of a month, I've won the month. And if I can win 8 to 9 months out of a year, I've won the year, right? But that starts with the day and building on each day. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I think I brought it up to the Miracle Morning team. And one of the things they mentioned was to kind of reflect in the evening and ask yourself, would I hire myself, right? Like, would I hire myself?
Back.
And
did I
kind of like
do those activities today that I would hire myself back tomorrow?
Exactly. Right. And if you didn't, that's fine. But what is it that you can do so you can hire yourself tomorrow? Like, what needs to change? So I love that, because I keep asking myself that after the podcast.
Awesome.
Would I hire myself tomorrow? Yes. There's days that I totally will. There's days that I'm like, no, I don't think so because I didn't do this. But I think it kind of reminds you of what can you improve going forward and take one day at a time.
Yeah.
Improve it day by day.
And it also leaves room for there to be a couple of days that turn upside down or for you to take a day off too, right?
Yeah.
If you win 4 to 5 days out of the week, you've still won the week,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Myrna, which podcast was it? Do you remember?
I do. It is the Empire. It's from the KW.
Empire Builders?
Yes, Empire Builder.
Awesome.
I listen to them
Awesome.
every single day. I
Oh,
love it.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, that's great. Any other things? So for the quiz, if I share with you guys the quiz again, do you guys think you could answer? Let me get this up. Could you answer the first? We know what number 2 is, right?
Yes.
What are the 3 L's? We know number 2, leads, listings, leverage.
Leverage.
We know what the 4 stages of growth are.
What are the 4 stages of growth? Oh,
You know, I had this all written down. I had all the pages written down on this quiz at some point, and I don't know where that is right now. I'll have to find it all again. I had all the pages.
I'm sorry. I missed what you were talking about. So is that the think a million, earn a million
Think
thing?
a million, earn a million, net a million.
Think a million, I think.
I think I think it's think, earn, net, and receive.
You got it.
A
Good
million.
job. Those are the 4 stages of growth. It starts with think, then earn, then net, then receive. Good job. Really, for today, those are the 2 we're supposed to be able to answer. Or those 2. And then I put that quiz in the chat for you guys, and I can email it to you as well. And it's in Keller Inc.
Yeah, no, I got it. I on the website and downloaded it.
Any other for the obviously the first section that we did was very introductory. Is there anything else? I actually love page 46 because it does points to remember. I love that they have that throughout. After each chapter, they have points to remember. It's a really good highlight of all of it. Any other things that stood out for this introductory?
Nope.
Well, what we'll do is next week when we meet, I will email you guys the pages. I can tell you right now, it's going to be pages 47 through, to get through 2 sections, through 97. 47 through 97.
Got it.
Okay.
47 through 97. So what is that, about 50 pages?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. And then thank you. And remember, invite other people to come. Oh, I was going to say that part too. This is definitely open to agents outside of our office as well. If you have an agent that you think would really benefit from attending this book club, obviously we've just gotten started. People haven't missed very much. They could easily get caught up. And so you're welcome to invite somebody else to attend. And then also remember your agents here in the office who you think would benefit. You're welcome to invite them as well. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks you guys for your time today and for participating. I appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Laura.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
Have a great day.
Okay,
You too.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.